Jenni's famous, like, hi guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome to the team call.
You gotta get really high when you do it.
Hey guys. Welcome to the call. We have misFITspiration and Rebel Republic all mashed up again. And we are likely going to be doing these semi-regularly. We're thinking about once a month. We would like to have everybody all mashed up together. I hope you guys are so pumped about that, as we are. We still have some cool resources we're working on for you. Do we want to do announcements first?
Sure.
Okay, so National Wake Up Call tomorrow is my man Tony. Everyone should be on there listening and loving every minute. I think he's going to be probably minding his manners on the National Wake Up Call, but I do enjoy it when he cusses.
I'm pretty sure they'll probably have him on a delay just in case.
So they can go beep.
Like, it's definitely pre-recorded. There's going to be nothing. They won't let Tony go live. No way.
So Tony will be going over 22-minute hardcore, which launches this month. And I don't know if any of you guys had the chance. What?
On the 1st.
Oh, it launches on the 1st?
Yep, 2 days.
Yeah, well, okay. For some reason, I thought it was a few days in. But yeah, okay. So 22-minute hardcore is launching not this month, clearly. Next month. So they're going to be talking all about that. If you guys haven't had a chance to try that on Beachbody On Demand, it is so fun and only 22 minutes, which is my favorite part.
Yes. And they did put out the pricing for that. And so just like with Hammer and Chisel, there's going to be 2 different challenge pack options. There's going to be the challenge pack option with Shakeology, and there's going to be the challenge pack option with the performance line. And originally it will be set at the $160 price point. So for the launch, it's going to be at the $140 price point. And both of those options, with the challenge pack with Shakeology or the performance line challenge pack, you're going to get what we're calling the PT sandbag.
I'm not sure what that's for. I don't know.
I'm not sure what the sandbag is, but to my knowledge, we didn't need equipment for 22-minute hardcore, but apparently it helps. Maybe it's one of those signs that like when PiYo came out, you could get these things that were called sliders, and it makes it more difficult because you don't have the traction of stability. So you're really using your core by having to use these sliders that would slide across your carpet. And so I'm thinking maybe the sandbag is something that you can use. I'm sure maybe in the FAQs, maybe we can search that a little bit later together, but it says plus the PT sandbag. So it'll be at the $140 price range. And then also PiYo is going to be on sale. So PiYo plus Shakeology challenge pack also at the $140 price range. And the PiYo Kickstart pack is going to be $180, which is the PiYo program, Shakeology plus the 3-day refresh. And then they're keeping the 3-day refresh and Shakeology challenge pack on special, continuing that from February on into March. It says that you can view the current promotions in the FAQ, and that's FAQ 4389. I'm just going to go ahead and click it real fast and see if it tells us about that sandbag while we're on. You can jump onto any other announcements.
We already said National Wake Up Call tomorrow is Tony Horton. Andrea also posted in the misFIT Republic team page that Janelle Summers is going to have another call. I think March 2nd is when it is. Janelle's calls that we're allowed to go to are absolutely incredible. So make sure you check that out, or put a note in your notebook to check it out after we're done with the call. Those are amazing. And I feel like we're so fortunate to have access to those as well. What else did we want to do? There was some other announcement. I don't remember.
I'm just trying to figure out about the sandbag thing. So
I'm sure it's just something to elevate it a little bit, because I think otherwise you didn't really need any equipment for it.
Oh, actually it says right here, I'm looking just so you guys know when you're trying to promote it and talk about it, required equipment. So there will be dumbbells that will use chin-up bar resistance band with door attachment. Recommended equipment will be Chin-Up Max, Beachbody Mat, and Beachbody PT Sandbag are helpful but not required. So it's something they won't need, but that they can use. So it's probably just something to make it look more or feel more military PT, like with the sandbag. I know like they lift those, throw those around and things like that. So it'll probably be the option of using something, a weight or that, is what I'm guessing. So that's kind of cool that they're going to be giving it for free, because I know with the PiYo launch, you didn't get the sliders. When that came out, we didn't get the sliders for free. So it's pretty cool that they're including something like that in this. So, anybody know for sure that they themselves are going to be getting 22-minute hardcore? I think I'm going to go for it. I really want an ultimate reset, but I think this is what I'll do after the ultimate reset. I don't know if I'm going to do it right away, but let me check on that real quick.
I want to see if they're going to do the unlock for it. I want to do the unlock versus the...
That's what I think I'm going to do too.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see if they'll have the unlock.
So unlocks I would totally do.
Yeah. This is saying that the 22-minute hardcore base kit is only going to be $39.90.
Coach price or customer?
That says that's the base kit for retail.
A cheap one.
That's a very cheap one.
And
then the PT bag is actually a $34.95 value. So now you know what you can tell them. 22-minute hardcore challenge pack is $140. So wait, if they're doing $130 plus 40 is $170, and they're selling at the $160 range, then that's only a $10 savings. We'll have to keep an eye on that to see if that's accurate. Or maybe they're going to keep it at the $140 range. I don't know. We'll see. But we're going to move on to our actual call today so we can all play. They literally just opened up these FAQs. That's why if we sound a little perplexed while we're going over them, they just release them. They usually wait until, because I've been looking these up all week to try and get stats to like share with you guys. But they released the Diamond Insider email, and then after that they release all this stuff. So this is I checked this morning and none of this was here, and so it's all here now. So
I think we should all make a note. Part of our power hour tomorrow is to get educated on 22-minute hardcore so that we have the opportunity to talk to people about it. Even if it's not something we choose to do ourselves, we want to be able to present it to people as an option if it sounds like it's the right fit for them. So that'll be anyone who has a short amount of time. They like to go hard for a short amount of time and feel beastly in the process. So
yeah,
that's all good. I will say my husband, he watched the workout with me because I watched it before I did it when he was getting ready. And he was like a little unnerved by a few of the military inconsistencies. And I thought it would be like all the military guys would be like, oh my gosh, I want that. But he was like, no. So I only say that because maybe specific military members are not our target market for this is all I'm saying that for.
Yeah. Okay. So, I just saw that so the challenge pack is not going to be at the $160 price. It's always going to be at the $140. So for the launch, it's still at $140, but they're giving the sandbag as
I understand. That makes sense.
Making the savings. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and move on
to the meat of the call. Okay, so the guys, this is where we ask that you guys meet us halfway, shut down all of your other distractions. If you have Facebook open, I have mine shut down. So anybody that's asking me questions to there, I will not get it. Anything else like that, shut it down, meet us halfway so that we can knock out some one-on-one time together. One-on-one or one-on 14. Okay. So we have a great call for you guys today. We are going to go through a few different scripted things to help you guys with initiating conversations with people, following up with them, all kinds of good things. So Jenny's going to talk to you a little bit about that. But as we're going through this, I'm going to be creating some slides with the exact verbiage that you guys can just copy and paste. So don't feel like you have to like scramble taking notes as we're going through this. We're going to provide all of the verbiage for you. We're pretty much just going to read through it and talk about why those things are good responses. There's options for each one. And then anything we say is a good idea for a script. I highly encourage you guys to copy it, paste it, and change it to your own voice. We'll go into more of that in a little bit, but make it your own. So this is just going to be a baseline for people that say, I just don't know what to say.
Yeah. And this is a PDF form. That's why Lorelei has been nice enough to offer to put it into like a copy and paste document. We will be sharing the PDF directly, like into the team, our team file section also. But she said she would go ahead and put it in a document where we can legit like copy and paste it, because you can't copy and paste from a PDF, and that's kind of annoying. But so I'm going to go ahead and screen share here, and we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this. But The reason that we decided to do this call is one of the things that Lorelei and I have always talked about when we were talking about when we were newer coaches, or something that would be really valuable to newer coaches is like, there's a fear of like, what do I say? And even as a seasoned coach, you go through these ebbs and flows in your business. And one of the things that I'll continue to struggle with is inviting. Like I'll go through like an inviting spree or rampage or whatever, and it like starts to work out. And then I'll kind of step back from inviting while I'm getting my new coaches started. And then it's time for me to start inviting again. And I'm just like, I don't know what to say. All of a sudden I've been coaching for almost 2 years and I don't know how to talk to somebody. So these are good resources from everyone from a brand new coach to a seasoned coach that just, sometimes we just have a brain fog, it's just like a kind of like back to the basics kind of thing. And it's something that we can relate on. And the good thing about this PDF is that it talks about a ton of different scenarios, different circumstances that can come up. So let me go ahead and screen share. And we're just going to go over this with you guys. So when I came across this, it was just something that I was just like, oh my gosh, Lorelei, I need to show you this, because this is kind of like very similar to what we've talked about, something that we would have always wanted as a brand new coach. So I shared it with her, and then we discussed it, and we were just like, let's take it to our teams. And originally it was just going to be like a post in the file section. But I was like, no, let's go over it, because we can expand on this. We can talk about this, and we can really show people how to use this document before we just like go throw it into our team pages. So here we go. So this is our guide to inviting and starting conversations. Hold on, I got to move my people across the top here. There we go. So guides for inviting and starting conversations. So when inviting or starting conversations with new people, always remember to be authentic. And you guys have heard us talk about that a ton, like talking about being authentic, being genuine to yourself, and, not trying to be me, not trying to be your sponsoring coach, just being yourself. If something doesn't sound like you, something you would say, change the wording to match you. Like Lorelei just said, copy, paste, and make it your own. If it's like, hey girl, like how was your trip to the mall? But you don't like ever say girl. Like a perfect example is Andrea says sister all the time. She's like, that's in her vernacular. She's like, hey sister, like how was your, baby shower? Like that sounds so foreign to me. Like I don't even call my sister. So if I was just like one day to like hop on a chat with somebody and was like, hey sister, like it'd feel weird to me. But I say lady all the time. I say hun, I say sweetie, I say babe. I'm like, hey babe, like those are normal words to me. So make sure that you're being true to yourself. Be genuine in all of your conversations. So here's some do's for you. And this is something I've talked about before. Check their page to see what's new in their life. If you've been coaching for a decent amount of time, you've probably made some mistakes. I did a Hey Girl. It was a Hey Girl follow-up. And I asked her if she was ready to sign up. And she was like, oh, no, I'm actually not. My dad just died. And I was like, oh my gosh. And turns out her last 2 whole weeks was all about how much she missed her dad. And I didn't do that. I didn't go to her I didn't go to her page and see what was going on in her life. And so then I'm the jerk who really looked like I was just trying to sell her something. And that wasn't my plan. It was, we'd been talking for a very long time. But I didn't go to her page and see what was going on in her life. Now that's an extreme version, but on a lighter scale, we want to go to their pages so we have something to relate to them to. Like look for something they post recently to open up a conversation. Like I've used this example before, like recipes. People share recipes. Like I'm on it like that. Like, have you already made that? Are you gonna make that? Will you give me a review of that? And it's a conversation opener upper. Check their page to see if they're already a coach, you guys. It's sometimes you'll get friend requests from people and you're just like, oh, new friend. And you go to write them and you're like, oh, you must be into health and fitness just like I am. And they're like, yeah, I'm actually a coach. We're both misfits, So just make sure you do a little bit of research on them. I joke with this all the time that I was telling my husband, I was like, yeah, a really good way that I relate to people is I go to their page and I see what's going on in their lives and I go and I write them and he goes, you're like a used car salesman? And I'm like, no, that was like our running joke. He was just like, no, I'm sorry. He didn't say used cars, but he called me a con artist. He's like, you're a con artist. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm being interested in them and their lives, which is what we're doing. He goes, that's a con artist too. And I was like, shut up. And I made him leave the room. But it was funny because I thought I was creating this thing of going to look at people's stuff, but obviously I wasn't, because look, it's right here. Make sure they're not working with another coach. You can check that by mutual friends. That's a really important one, because we don't want to be stepping on toes and things like that. And then in addition, with another company, whether they're a coach in another company, or you can tell that they're using a product of another company, even though you know from conversations you've had previously or from what they're doing on their page, if you can see something that they're already using a different product, then you don't want to look like that sleazy person who's like, oh, you're trying to lose weight. Well, don't wrap your stomach, actually do a workout. That just looks bad that you're bashing another company. If they're already with another company, it's actually against Beachbody compliance to try and go get somebody from another company to join our company. So, I know that sounds like something that like, oh, well, how would they know? They actually do know, because Beachbody compliance works very closely with the compliance departments of other networks. And if somebody were to put a complaint in on you, it would go into their compliance, and their compliance is BFFs with our compliance. They actually have their own, I forget what it was called. I learned at the New Leader Conference. There's a network of compliance people, and Beachbody is actually one of the companies that heads that foundation, so they all work closely together so that everybody can be on like a fair level playing ground. Anyways, be interested in their lives. We always say that it's not about you and your journey and your story always. It's about being a good listener. And this is something that I honestly have to work at, because I'm a big interrupter, but I interrupt because of my need to connect with people. So if somebody's telling me their story, then I want to be like, oh my gosh, me too. Like I'm very much like a me too, me too, me too. And I want to share my story because I want to build that connection. But it actually builds a stronger connection if you let them talk and you ask them questions. And so that's something that I know personally I continue to work on, because you're building a relationship. So being interested in their life is the first step of building that trust, because as we've always said, building trust is what we're trying to do, because we're asking them to trust us on the most vulnerable, with the most vulnerable parts of their lives. So be you in the way that you talk and you word things. That kind of goes with what I already said in the beginning there. And then share your personal views and experiences, and be passionate about it, you guys. Be passionate about your journey and what you're doing, and the company and the products that you're using and things like that. So make sure that you are continuing to share that via your public social media, but also in your conversations and stuff. So those are things you should be doing.
I especially love that, sharing your personal views and experiences, because you're going to draw on the people that you automatically connect with. And if you're going to be working with these people a lot, it's such a benefit to truly be yourself, so that they can connect with that. And because you're going to be spending a lot of time, like, especially if they're a coach, you're going to spend a lot of time working with them. It's helpful if they fit up with you. You know how, like, when you're dating, they say people that are dating, I don't actually know because I married the man I met when I was 14, but they say when you're dating that it's like you have to pretend to be someone else at the beginning in order to have them love you for who you are. Like, we don't want to do that. We want to be genuine in ourselves. So as far as the don't only talk about Beachbody. As a matter of fact, when you're going into building relationships about other people, it should not be founded on your Beachbody business. If it sways in that direction, that's amazing, and you can talk about it, and then sway it back to talk about things in their life too. And this tells them, I care about you as a person, and they'll be more interested, or they'll feel more comfortable being able to ask. I think a lot of times people are afraid to ask us questions because they think that it's going to be like, oh, you're locked in, you're going to buy from me, and I'm going to hound you until you buy something from me. And we're kind of sharing with them along the way that that's not how we work. Don't use wording that doesn't feel natural, and that goes a lot into what we're already saying. But when you feel awkward about how you're saying something, it's going to come through in the conversation. You want to allow yourself to work from your area of passion. So a lot of that is using words that are natural to you. Like Lacey saying wicked, that's her thing. And when she uses that type of word, people understand that it's not copy and pasted. They don't feel like she's being scripted. She feels like it's real. So while we're giving you scripts here, guys, it's really important to hone that in and make it natural so that these people feel like they're connecting. Don't ever send links in original messages and initial messages. This is the first thing I did as a Beachbody coach. I was like, oh my gosh, hip hop ads, challenge pack. What? Here's my link. I don't know how, but someone actually bought from me. It was a fluke. the only fluke, the only time it ever has happened in the history of anything, and I haven't done it since. But super spammy. That's not how we are. And guys, I'm so thankful that that's not how we are. I'm so thankful. I've been spammed by so many people, and every time it happens, I'm like, oh, I'm just so thankful that that's not how we encourage people to work. Don't lose your ability to have a normal conversation. I don't know about you guys, but I went through this phase of not having a normal conversation happen to me. And I feel so much more comfortable when I feel like I can talk about several different subjects, about life, of parenting, things like that. I feel more in tune with who I am as a person. So remember, you're just talking to people, finding out about their lives, and you can help them. So like, keep that in mind and build relationships. Not selling, building relationships.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now it kind of gets into kind of specific examples of like when to reach out to somebody. So this would be a couple of examples, and this is the document that Lorelei said she's going to create for us, where it's going to be where you can literally copy and paste it, make it your own. This is when someone likes your transformation post, and even you can use this and tweak it a little bit, when we share each other's results too. So, hey, so-and-so, it's been a while. Thanks so much for liking my hammer and chisel transformation post last night. I really feel like I kicked my booty into shape. I wasn't sure if you were liking it, if you were just liking it, or if you were thinking about trying it out. So I figured I'd ask. Like, how non-scary is that for both you to send it and also for them to receive it? Because you're basically kind of giving them an out and in saying like, oh, no, I was just being supportive because you did a really good job. Or you're giving them an open invitation, because sometimes people won't come to you. We've all seen that, they won't come to you because they're too embarrassed. They're not confident. They're not there yet and feeling like they're worth it. So now you've opened up the door and been like, oh, you were thinking about trying. And they're like, actually, could you tell me a little bit more about it? Like, all I know is really that you made these transformation pictures and that you look great. So you're giving them a chance to go either way on it, but the conversation has started. The other way is, hey, I just wanted to send a quick thanks for supporting my transformation post from last night. It's difficult to share, and then something about your story. And I know it's just a like, but it really does mean the world to me. And the support helps me to keep pushing forward on my journey. So thank you. So if you're a little bit more intimidated with the invite process, or the pseudo invite in the first one, then you can just really send them a message that says thank you. And you kind of hope that they from there move on to asking you more about it. So that would be the more timid way. And the first one would be a little bit more, I hate to use the word aggressive, but it's because it's not aggressive. There's nothing aggressive about the first one, but I guess proactive would be a better word to use to say about the first one, because you're actually opening up a conversation about whether or not they want to do it. But the second one is great too, because it also encourages them to continue supporting you. So maybe they're not ready right now. And so you write something like that and you're like, thank you for supporting my journey. And then as you continue on your journey, they're going to be like, oh, she was so nice when I supported her last time. I'm going to support her again. So great examples for when somebody likes your transformation post. Then between Lorelei and myself, we can probably come up with something very, very similar to this, where it's for when you share somebody else's results. So like the first one, hey, so-and-so, it's been a while. Thanks so much for liking the progress pictures that I posted of my challenger. Didn't she do such a great job? I wasn't sure if you were liking it or if you were thinking about trying it and joining my next group. So I thought I'd ask. Right there. Boom. We just switched it from my transformation to somebody else's. So you can use it in both instances. So
I love it. The next one is when someone likes your call to action post. So these are ones when you're specifically inviting to a program, a challenge group, coaching, things like that. So the first example is, hi, I saw you liked my post about my action post. I'd love to talk to you about it more if you're interested in that, to see if it would be a good fit for you. I always love to say if it will be a good fit for you, because that says to them, I'm not going to push you in this. I really just want to help you figure it out if it's right for you. You could also do, hi, how have you been? I love your something you noticed on their page. Do your appropriate cyber stalking first. And then, you're relating to them in that area. Anyway, I saw you liked my post on my page. I didn't know if you were just liking the picture or if you were interested in it. So I thought I'd ask. This is a super simple way, like Jenni was talking about, you're connecting with them. You're giving them an opportunity to get more information if they are, but even if not, you're building a relationship by conversating with them, and they don't feel like, hey, you liked it, do you want the link to buy it? It doesn't feel forcey, salesy. it feels like you're truly interested in them as a person, and that's going to take us so much farther.
And the second one is, just to add on to what Lorelei was saying, the second one is really good for those posts that we do about Beachbody, but they're not like, hey, my new coach training is starting next month, who wants in? Or, hey, I have a what is coaching, who wants in? But you know those more subtle ones that we do that are like, hey, or just like a picture or whatever, and you're just like, I really love my job. Like, this is an amazing thing. Like, whenever you decide that you're ready to change your life, like, let me know. And that's kind of how you ended it. So it's not really like, you're not saying like, come to my what is coaching or join my new coach training or join my sneak peek, but you're just kind of like, you're worth this too, or you can do this too. And you kind of sign it off with that. And then they like that. This bottom script is perfect for that, because you're not really doing a full on call to action, but you're being like, this is the best decision I ever made. Like, when you're ready to make the same decision, let me know. And it's like the last part of the thing, you did a whole post that wasn't inviting, and then the very last thing, so you can kind of use it as a way to like open that up, and it's really low intimidation factor when you're doing that. So when following up with someone you've invited, so this is obviously, as it says, you've already invited somebody, and then you want to follow up, whether it's like the next day or a few days later, or you're doing like your month-end roundups, like it's kind of where we're at right now with it being one more day in the month. So, hey, so-and-so, the new challenge group starts soon, and I know you were so excited to join. I seriously can't wait to help you accomplish and then restate their goals, because obviously if you've talked to somebody and you invited them to join your challenge group, you know their goals. And I was actually on Live Power Hour the other night, and we talked about this, bringing it back to their goals. And the girls who were on with me, they actually saw me do that, and I was like, hold on, I know her goals. And I went back to our conversation, and I pulled it up, and I went back to my conversation, and I plugged it right back in. Just wanted to see if you had a few minutes now to order, since I'm available now to answer any questions. Now for me, I'd probably say to walk you through the process, or I'd say to like, I'm available to let you know, or I'm available if you have any questions about the ordering process, something like that. But anyways, like, that's how I would make it my own. I always do this right here where it says, I seriously can't wait to help you accomplish. And I know you were so excited to join. I talk to them like it was already a yes. And like, just the ordering hasn't happened. Even if they haven't decided yet, I talk to them as if yes. So it's like, hey, just want to chat with you. Like, so excited to get you started. Our new group is getting going. People are already chattering in there. We've got the files up, and, can't wait to add you in there and let them, talk to them as if yes. Then the second example here is, hey, so-and-so, the blah, blah, blah starts soon. Are you still interested in joining so that you can be on your way to, and then insert their goals, or should I give your spot up to someone else? That's something that I say more often when it's somebody who's like dragging their feet, is not, who you've tried to reach out to a couple times. And then what I add on to that, and what Lorelei I'm sure would add on to our PDF file or our non-PDF file, is should I give your spot up to someone else and save you one in the next group? You've heard us talk about that before. And then they feel special, and they feel like you're not just like, oh, you're not going to order, like you're done. You're saying like, if now's not a good time, let me save a spot for you the next one. And then you've actually set yourself up for the follow-up the next month before your next challenge group starts. So
I love that. And I also love asking them if they want to remain on my follow-up list or if they want to be removed. That also shows them that they have that flexibility. And every time I've said, do you want to be off of my list of people I'm checking in with? And they're like, no, I need you. Please don't I swear I'm going to do this soon. Right now is not right. I'm like, what? It's totally cool. But it's cool because then I get that feedback, and I get to kind of hear, like, is this something that they're enjoying me talking to them about that? Because the next time I go to follow up with them, I'm like, they love it when I do this. I feel really good about it.
Absolutely. I agree. It sounds scary. Like when I very first heard that, was it Bonnie Engel that we heard that off of?
I think it was Bonnie. Yeah.
And she said that she follows up and she does that. She says that she does a couple different things. And one of them was that she says, do you want me to take you off my follow-up list? And I was like, oh, like this panic. I was like, they're going to say yes. And then I have nobody on my follow-up list, and it was just like this panic mode. And then I started doing it, and nobody said, yes, take me off of your list. A couple people still didn't respond, but everyone who responded was like, no, I love you checking in on me, or I appreciate you following up with me. Like, they don't see it as us just trying to make a sale, because we're not just trying to make a sale, because we do know their goals, because we're genuine about wanting to help them reach those goals. And so when you say something like that, they very much do appreciate it. It's a scary thought, you guys. We understand that because we are both scared too. But just so you know, in reality, because I think it was Michelle Myers said nobody ever comes off my follow-up list, or maybe it was Melanie Mitchell. But so even if somebody were to tell me, like, yes, take me off your follow-up list, they wouldn't go anywhere. I'm just saying. That's a side note. They just wouldn't get followed up with every time. Next time they liked something, I would go back to the beginning and be like, hey, I saw you liked that. You're now on my follow-up list again.
This next one I love because this happens to every single coach ever. So if this is happening to you, if people are ignoring you, you know they're reading their messages, you know they're on Facebook and they are not responding to you. It is not you. It truly is not you. It happens to everyone. Like Lindsay Matway has people that ignore her messages and they're insane. So, but it happens. It's not you. I promise. I promise. So do not let it funk up your mood. Don't. I am going to give you my personal thing that I like to say to them. And I got this from Heather Lee and I thought it was so sneaky.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
so like Heather Lee told us, and I know it's not in the script, but I'll write it when we do the images that go with it. But it's like, I'll say, I really just wanted to make sure everything's okay. Our conversation was going really well and you seem to drop off. Are you okay? Are you sick, or is there something happening in your family? I'm truly concerned for you. And like guys, like 100% of the time they're like, oh no, I'm truly okay. It's just XXXX, like real life things happen, or they're nervous or they're not ready. And they need to know that we're truly caring for them as a person. Totally sneaky way. But a few times people have said, I have been so sick. I have been so sick. Like it just happened this week. This one girl, she's like, I've been so sick and I haven't even opened the message because I knew that it wouldn't show it as a new message, whatever. There's a reason. So that's my personal one that I've been using because I loved how sneaky it was.
And it's not even, it's sneaky in the sense that it's getting a conversation going in, but it's not. I mean, you do care about them, and like we do care about them, so it's just a way. It takes the pressure off of them from feeling like, oh, she's writing me to get me to join her group when they're not maybe ready. So it's a really good way to let them know, like you said, that we care about them and that we do want to know about their well-being, but we also are deserved a response because we're humans.
It's so good though. It's so good because it really follows in play with how we feel about coaching from heart.
Yeah.
And then when it doesn't have to feel awkward, we're not saying like, hey, you said you'd bye.
Yeah.
The other option that we have on here is saying like, I get that this obviously isn't for you. I personally would probably remove the word obviously because it feels a little strong for me. But that's how I say, like, we adjust it to our own wording. And I understand it's not for everyone, but I'm in the business of creating wealth, both physically and financially, for everyone. And I would love to know what I said wrong in this conversation or what you didn't get about what's happening, just so I can get a better idea for my next conversation. Now, I've done a little bit of this when responding to people. I will say something like, would you mind telling me at what point did you feel that this wasn't the right fit for you? Just so I can get an idea of how I can help people, because I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible. And I've gotten really great feedback from it. Sometimes it'll say it's not you at all, or it will say like, I've had one person say like, I really just didn't connect to you. And if that's the case, I truly hope that she finds someone that does connect to her, because we are not a good fit for each other. And it's good that she chose not to join me. Does that make sense, guys? It's totally okay when people don't feel like we're the right fit for them. It's not a personal thing.
Absolutely. And this is another thing that I that was pulled from Bonnie Engel. This is something that is really scary to do as well when you think that somebody's not interested. But like I said before, this is something that also takes the pressure off of people. Now they know that you're no longer trying to get them to purchase. And the example that Bonnie Engel used with this is, one thing that she came across a lot was with coach recruiting. People were saying like, oh, well, I just can't support shakes. Like, I don't believe in protein shakes. I don't believe in weight loss shakes. I just can't. I can't build a business where I have to sell shakes. And she was like, and so that opened up where she could have honest, open conversations about Shakeology. And so then she could be like, oh, what do you know about Shakeology? And like, she could inform them about Shakeology without the pressure of buying. Because at this point, they're both on the same page. Well, even though if Bonnie wasn't, but the person responding is on the page of, I'm not purchasing. So they're just having a candid conversation, And so then she can be like, oh, no, you totally got it wrong. Like, I'm sorry. And she apologized. Like, I'm sorry that I misinformed you about Shakeology. It's not like that at all. Like, I'd be totally glad to send you a couple samples, like whatever, just so you can try it, just so you can know that it is different from whatever you're categorizing it with. But, and then it opens up the conversation, or somebody says like, well, I just don't know if I have enough time. And then she can be like, oh, you know what? That's like, and then relate it to somebody else like that didn't have a lot of time, but still built a really good business. And she said that it's like Anchorman, like 75% of the time it works every time or something like that. She said like 70% of the time the person ends up coming around within the next couple of months, if not right then, and ends up signing up as a challenger, as a coach, because they were able to have that candid conversation. Because a lot of times when somebody decides or thinks it's not for them, they'll just stop the conversation. They won't be like, well, I'm concerned about Shakeology. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? But when you give them an open forum to just tell you so that you can learn from it, then they feel like they're really helping you by giving you that information, that feedback. I've done it. Lorelei's done it. And I've gotten really good feedback from it as well. This one girl was like, most of the people will tell you didn't do anything wrong. And they'll just be like, it's just not the right time for me. Or they'll say, and it's like, why couldn't you tell me that? Like, why did I have to fish for it? But some people we just have to do that. And then another person was just like, no, I want to sign up. She's like, and she said, I was done. I wasn't going to do it, but I've just been following you really closely the last month or so. And I really do. I want to join your team. I just got to figure out the right time for me and my family. And I was like, oh, that was unheard of. I didn't think that I would hear back from her at all. Okay. So moving on. So anyways, that's a little braver thing, but you'll yield good results from it. When starting a conversation that has died, and now this is a kind of just more like a hey girl conversation maybe. So you're just like, hey, so-and-so, how have you been? How was your weekend? And that's literally just a hey girl. That's just talking to them, getting to talk to them again. Conversation could have gone stale from a prospective challenger or a coach prospect, but this is just reconnecting, not asking them anything about the business, just trying to get that connection. And then the other example here is like, hey, so-and-so, I saw you did such and such this weekend. That is so awesome. How have you been? So again, that goes back to the first thing we talked about going to their page, being invested in their day-to-day activities. Because as we grow our networks, I can't tell you how many times, even Lorelei stuff, we connect on Facebook daily, through Messenger, and even Lacey, both of them, when, I chat with them every single day, but their stuff barely shows up at my newsfeed. So I have to go to their pages if I want to see it. And, so you have to go to these people's pages and see what they're doing before, so that you can interact with them based on what they've recently posted.
I also like using that opportunity to interact on their page a little bit, especially if I'm finding the need to interact with them through Messenger. The chances are good that I want them to see my posts on Facebook too. So interacting on their page just a little bit. I don't want to be like your picture, comment. Because they're like, what is happening here? But, just triggering a little bit of activity on their page. And if you say oh, that thing you did this weekend was amazing, commenting on it and then messaging them about it says I see you. And then you're messaging them, and then they're going to start seeing your things too. So when someone likes your like page, I like that this is a little script, because this is something I've struggled with for a long time. So even having an idea of what to say to someone who likes your like page, I think is amazing. So it says, hey, thanks so much for liking my page. Enter your page name if it's not your name. If it is your name, don't worry about it. But say you have a fictional name for yours, make sure you tell them what you're talking about, or else they may have no idea.
Yeah.
I appreciate the follow and support. Are you working on any goals yourself right now? I like that it's really soft lead into what we're doing. And it's saying how did you connect with what I'm doing? But it's not like, how can I sell something to you? It doesn't say that at all. It's a gentle introduction.
Yeah, and something that just added into the middle part there that I see a lot of girls do that are in Jesse's training, it'll say what you just said and say, appreciate the follow and the support. You must be on a personal health and fitness journey also. Are there any goals you're working on yourself right now? So you're giving them the acknowledgement that like, oh, you must be on a health and fitness journey too. And then if they're like, oh no, I'm trying to start one or whatever. So it kind of opens that up in case they aren't on one, so, or they're looking to start one, you can kind of help them get that foundation. Or if they are already starting something and they can write something back just with their goals or whatever. But it just kind of gives them that little bit more of just like, oh, you liked my page? You must be into health and fitness too, kind of like, or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, reconnecting with a friend or acquaintance. So like maybe somebody from high school friend requested you or vice versa, or an old friend that you used to work with or college buddy or whatever. You just say, hey, so-and-so, it's been a while. I just wanted to reach out and say, hey, see how you've been, and then insert holiday greeting or something relevant you see on their page. Can't wait to hear back from you. Super simple. I know a lot of these guys, they seem like really simple and basic, but conversations really are. It's when we get into our own heads that we start to talk ourselves out of like, oh, they know that I'm trying to sell them something. I have another misfit, and she's a local girl. She's on somebody else's team, but still with the Misfit Republic. And she's terrified to have these simple conversations because before she was a coach, somebody reached out to her and that's what they were trying to do. But they didn't reach out to reconnect with her. They were just like, hey, it's been a long time. Have you ever tried these wraps? And so now in her head, that's what she thinks people hear when she tries to connect with them. And you guys, if you're genuine and you're honest and you're yourself, they're not going to hear that because that's not what you're doing. The next line after this sentence isn't like, can't wait to hear back from you, and I can't wait for you to buy from me. Like, that's not this at all. That's so far from what we do.
So true. When connecting with someone new, I like this too, because a lot of these are situations where you might feel a little bit awkward, and connecting with someone new sometimes is challenging. I will say, when I connect with a new entrepreneur on Facebook and they send me this message saying very much what we're going to talk about here, I feel more comfortable with them, and I feel like we can talk. You may not find the right vibe with them, but I like this. I like opening the conversation. So, hey, I know we haven't spoken before, but I wanted to reach out and say hi, and like Jenni just said, insert holiday greeting or something relevant you see on their page. Just to get the conversation rolling, I will say, like, if I know that it's from one of my entrepreneur groups, I will ask a little bit about their business. People love to talk about what they're passionate about, so it's a great thing to lead with. If it's someone in, like, a Crunchy Mommy group, you know what to lead with. If it's, like, there's all kinds of different things that kind of know what your connections are. And if not, that's when you do your appropriate Facebook stalking. Or you could say, hey, we don't know each other, but I saw you were in the group name. So freaking important, guys. Whenever I add someone as a friend in any group, I always start out a message saying where I met them. And I do this for my own tracking methods. I mean, I track in my binder, but say in the future, I'm out in my car and someone messages me and I'm like, who is this person? I do not recognize this name. I can scroll to the top of the message and I can see where I've already said I met in this group, because I've sent them this message saying like, hey, I saw your post in XX group and I thought it was really great, blah, blah. So super important when you're adding friends to give them a little bit of a nugget about how you guys met. So anyway, I digress. So we don't know each other, but I saw you were in the group name on Facebook and I figured I'd say hi. I'm also interested in that group topic, and it never hurts to have more of those group friends. We have to have each other's backs. I mean, like everything in this, yes, 100%. And I use this for whenever I'm adding someone to my network. Completely send them a message, start the conversation, get the ball rolling. It doesn't mean they're going to buy from us, but we are expanding our network. And the point is like, like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, like they could be talking to someone else and they're like, you know what? I just met this really nice girl who's doing the same thing you're interested in. You are not only talking to them, but you're talking to all the people that they're going to talk to that may need you too. So make sure that you welcome them, connect with them, all that. So
Absolutely. Just a personal example like of that first one there. I did back in October or September, I did like my 7-day healthy snack group, and I ended up adding so many people. There was no way that I could have connected with all of them. I got really behind. And so what I did, and I'm using this example because it says holiday greeting, is it was right after Halloween, and I wrote everyone in that group that I hadn't had a chance to connect with yet. And I wrote them and I was like, hey, thank you so much. I never got around to like write you and thank you for joining my 7-day healthy snack group. Like, isn't it funny that we did a 7-day healthy snack group and now we just all have a house full of Halloween candy? Like, did you guys have fun trick-or-treating? And so I acknowledged and thanked them for joining my group. And then I related it to what was going on currently. And I asked them a question about something that they would answer, because who doesn't like to talk about how cute their kids were on Halloween? You know, so that was really just something that an example that I made that really right the same as right here. So I am going to stop screen sharing, and then Lorelei is going to screen share something else that she created that we can use for tracking. And she's going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I also love what you just said about ending in a question. I'm obsessed with ending in a question because it's a really simple resource I found that helps keep the conversation going. You get less ignores that way, but like I said, no matter what, you're always going to get people that ignore your posts. So, but definitely ending in a question that's easy helps. So let me see. Going to share my whole screen in order to show this with you guys. Sorry about all the junk in the background. Okay, so here I have some printable trackers for you guys. The first one is a 3-day follow-up tracker. This is going to be like your hot follow-up. The people that you know are interested or said, like, I can't talk right now, but I really need to get with you on this. Those are going to be the people you put in your 3-day follow-up tracker. Now, I printed several of these, and I put them in my binder. So my binder, I have it split up by months, and I move, like every time we switch to a new month, I move them over into the next month. And so my 3-day follow-up is the most common one on there. So next I have the 3-week follow-up. Now, say you're talking to someone and they're like, you know, now is really not the right time, but I in a few weeks, or because of a paycheck or whatever other reasoning. When you're talking to people and they say that they need for you to follow up with them later, you're going to get those little clues in there on how soon to follow up with them. So on these little trackers, you're going to have all the little sections that you can follow up. Good grief, it happened again. So, so you have everything you can fill in there. And the next follow-up is important because as you're opening your binder, so if this is the first page of your binder, when you're opening it up to do your power hour, you'll be able to see the date on there. You'll say, oh, like this is someone I'm supposed to follow up with that I've already committed to following up with today. So the 3-week follow-up, sometimes you're going to move people from one tracker to another tracker depending on what is going on in your conversation. But definitely track everyone that you're talking to, especially when you are thinking, okay, I need to follow up with this person later. I will sometimes move ahead in my daily calendar and put them on my to-do list for that daily calendar, but I'm really liking this because I feel like when I'm doing my vital behaviors for the business, I can say, okay, now I'm going to do my follow-ups. I pull up my follow-up tracker and I know who I'm going to be working towards. Okay, so the last one is the 3-month follow-up tracker. This one isn't as commonly used. It's going to move every single month when I flip my page over in my binder, but this one is going to be for people who have some serious things going on that they're like, the people that we talked about that say like, please don't take me off of your follow-up list. I definitely need you, but I can't swing it until the summer, things like that. So put your 3-month follow-up. It doesn't have to be technically 3 months. Maybe you have someone that says 1 month. You could put them in the 3-month follow-up, put the date on there, and then when you're going through your power hour, you're going to scan through for the dates and message that person. And then once you follow up with them, you cross them off and move them down, write their name again. I printed off several of these. I printed them off double-sided, and I have a ton of them in my binder, and I'm loving the binder system. So we're going to include these. Jenni, I think you made some with your logo on them too. Mm-hmm. So this is the one that I'm going to be putting in my team page, but Jenni has one special for you for Rebel Republic people that she's going to put in the page for you. However you do your tracking, whether you use this one or if you have a different method, rock that tracking method because it is so helpful to be keeping an eye on which conversations you need to check in with or which ones need a refresh. And we have all those script things that we just talked to you guys about that you can use for resources too. It's all super simple when we combine all these things we've talked about together.
Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm excited for these resources. I'm super excited for them to get into a non-PDF format so people can literally copy and paste. I know some of you guys were looking at the things that we were going over and being like, that's obvious, but it's really not, like we all, like I said in the very beginning, we get through things and we get stuck, or we're sitting here and we're just like, I start that conversation. It's like, these are so simple and they're tried and true. They are so, they like a lot of those I kept saying throughout is that they're from Bonnie Engel, and a couple of them are from Michelle Myers, and so they're just put together by these rock star top coaches, so those are the exact verbiage that they use. Those are drawn from scripts that they share with their teams. So yeah, I think that's it for the recorded part. If anybody has any questions, do you want to keep recording for questions, or?
No, we can turn it off. I just want to be like, that's what's shaking.